All right, everybody, welcome into the DNVR Rapids post-game show. It's a winner's lounge, and it is brought to you by
Bam,
bam. It's brought to you by Evoca TV, the homies, and we are joined today, of course, by super producer, the superest of the producers, Rapids fan, Denver native, the man himself, Yahir G. Vazquez. What's up, brother?
Some might say I'm the prodigal son of Denver. Some
Some
might say.
some say that, yeah. Some definitely do say that.
I've heard that quite a bit around here.
Yeah, streets are talking about it.
So.
Let's get into it real. We're going to talk about the win last night. Obviously, we might touch a little bit on the potential Andre Shinyashiki trade that is yet to be confirmed. And we'll kind of just get into the thoughts on this tough stretch coming up for the Rapids. But first, we'll talk about the homies over at Evoca TV. Great game last night, and if you couldn't see it, I have a solution for you. If you can't watch the Rapids, Avalanche, Nuggets because you don't have altitude, because you're one of those subscribers to a service that doesn't have it, you need to sign up for Evoca TV. It's a totally new approach to TV programming delivery that is less expensive, easy to watch, and offers a superior picture. Services include Altitude Sports, AT&T Sportsnet, other national channels. Service is now available in Colorado Springs, and they're adding new channels to their lineup constantly. But the most important thing is Altitude Sports. If you don't want to miss the Avs playing in the playoffs, if you don't want to miss those Nuggets games from the awesome season they just had, more importantly, if you don't want to miss Rapids games, get Evoca TV. You also get access to coverage of the Rams and the Pioneers. And of course, the Rockies, who started hot. Maybe they can get back into form over on AT&T Sportsnet Rocky Mountain. That's everybody. That's all your favorite Colorado sports teams right there. How do you sign up? You go to evoca.tv/DNVR. Use the promo code DNVR, and you will get $10 off of your first 3 months. That's only $15 per month for the first 3 months, plus receiver. No contracts and no hidden fees. Go ahead and sign up with the homies. They will take care of you. All right, yeah. Give me your. You were watching that game. I was there. I was up in the press box. The vibe seemed great from where I was, man.
Real quick, Cole Bassett just entered the Feyenoord game. The Feyenoord,
no way.
Game.
Feyenoord? So,
yeah. Feyenoord game. So let's see what he can do. First extended minutes out there. So
what's the time and what's the time situation there? Is he going to play like a long?
He's going to play around 30 minutes.
There you go. Good for Cole, man. That's awesome. Good to see.
So let's see what we can do out there. But no, man. I watched that game and I felt reassured. I felt validated.
Oh, those are good words.
After my positive attitude, like for the last 2-3 weeks, and people were telling me you're being too positive, I felt validated, and now I feel like this team is even going to be better than I thought.
It was honestly the perfect result for the Rapids, considering that Price was out with the hamstring, Wilson's still out with a hamstring, the Shinyashiki trade rumors, still trying to integrate Gyasi Zardes, not getting a win since March 12th, not being able to score multiple goals since March 12th. A lot of things stacked up against them. A very difficult stretch ahead of them schedule-wise in terms of just games and number of days between them. And they came through in a big way. The attack was constant. The ball was living over in the attacking third. Lots of crosses, lots of chances. There he is. Joseph coming through. Rapids gave Yahya the gas he needed. Dude, Yahya he filled up the tank last night. He's ready to go, baby.
I just feel super validated because everything I said was right. Now that they have right, like I just feel so much more like the process finally got the results, and it just feels really good.
Yeah, let's break down that game a little bit. There was a goal taken away a little after the 20th minute on a Bryan Acosta corner, and I thought we can get into Acosta a little bit, but I thought he had a great game on set pieces. Put one right on the head of Lawless, who had a great run around the backside of the box, put one in. Jonathan Lewis making contact with the goalkeeper. So indirect offsides called, waved off by the letter of the law. Pretty good call. Pretty tough because you see that happen a lot and not get a call. But VAR comes through, cancels out the goal. Immediately, Rapids back on the attack, chance after chance. And then Rubio on a free kick, bends it around over a defender's head. Ivacic stood zero chance. He didn't even try and dive for it because he wasn't even close. Barry's one in the back for his 5th of the season. 5th. That is as many goals as he had last season. He is now up to 5 and on pace for about 20, which is not what people were expecting preseason. He's killing it. Went into the break 1-0. Only one real chance for Portland in the first half, I would say. Really chippy, a lot of yellow cards. Both keepers got yellow cards. It was like 11 yellow cards on 21 foul calls, which is like a pretty crazy rate. Into the 60th, I want to say 67th or 60th, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but Rubio gets sent off for his second on a late challenge on the sideline. He got into it with the fourth official. The second the game was over, I saw a tweet go out there. He was complaining about that, tagged the official MLS account on Twitter. So he's getting a little spicy. Yep. Yeah, he's going to get fined, but that's okay. Let him. He's been playing awesome. And I don't think either yellow was unnecessary. I do think it's a lot to send someone off for that. But the way he was calling the game, you couldn't do that. So they're down to 10. They have about 20, a little under 25 left to play. And somehow the attack stays strong and possession stays strong. There were a few chances there for Portland. And, Yarby definitely had some great saves. He had his 21st shutout as a Rapid, which puts him just 2 behind Tim Howard on the all-time shutout charts for the Rapids. Insane. And then in the 94th, so stoppage +4, the Canadian King, Mark Anthony K, on just a beautiful Barrios came in and completely changed the pace of the game. He came in for Max, who I thought was having a great game, but the way he was able to just own that right side, everybody else on the Rapids was shifting left, and he just had wide open spaces. He caught one on a counter, sent it into Mac, who just buried it in the left corner. 2-0 at the death. Game over. Rapids get 3 points at home in front of their faithful. Unbeaten at home streak to 21 games. Yeah. What's your biggest takeaway?
I want to shout out Jonathan Lewis. He made me eat my words. He had a great game. If he was a finisher, this game would be about 4-0. That's the only thing.
Yes.
But that was such a good game from him. The creativity throughout the whole game. I feel like
pace.
Fraser lost Danny Wilson and Jack Price, 2 of the most creative players on the team from the back end, and he supplemented it with Bryan Acosta, who took over the defensive role of Jack Price, and K was allowed to go up and be creative and be that kind of cam forward, that central attacking midfielder. And then you had Rubio playing that false 9 role, and you also had Max and J. Lou creating chances on the wings. It was just such a good game all the way around. It was the creativity in this game had me hyped, especially because they went with the 4-back, and I still think that's the right formation. That's my favorite formation. But that was just the creativity up top was super cool to see. Like they lost 2 of the more creative players, and then they just supplemented it with young talent and a lot of speed, and that was the way to go for sure.
I think, you're talking about creativity, and Lewis definitely, his pace was unreal. He had some pretty good touches to break open into some space. Obviously, did not finish about 3 wide open chances, including one in the second half that had a XG of 0.34. Definitely should have buried it. Just a sitter, didn't get it. But I think it was a good game, and if he finished, it would have been a great game, right? But it was definitely one of his better games this season. Could be his best game this season. I think on the other wing, you had Max playing on the right side, which is not his natural side. He likes to drift up to the left, but man, his creativity just with the ball at his feet tonight, just some touches to Joseph saying K ruined his 1-0 prediction. Yeah, K was great, but Max with the touches with the ball at his feet, just that sauce we were talking about, the last couple of weeks, where it's like that those little things that you don't see a lot of on this Rapids team. Not that there's not a lot of skill, but just being able to completely change the direction of the ball, get defenders off of their lines was really impressive. And I don't think there's much else to say about his game because, he didn't have a goal, didn't have an assist, didn't really have a ton of impact plays really. But what it says to me is that he's getting comfortable. that he knows how to play with and off of his teammates a little better than he has. He's integrating himself, and maybe we'll get some, especially with this run of play coming up, there's going to be a lot of chances for him to play. So hopefully showing that creativity and showing that willingness to commit to the attack and to commit to sharing the ball around, hopefully we'll see a lot of minutes for him coming forward.
Yeah, man, I really thought Max did a great job. I love how the same week that I said, would you believe it if Max started more than one game?
And then we got one
immediately that week, which nobody expected, honestly. But I thought, dude, again, that front three of Zardes, and then you had Lewis and Max on the right side. Then you had Rubio playing that attacking role, that like false nine role right before them. That's the best formation to me. That's my favorite formation. That's, I think, what they should be going forward. I love the back line. I loved it. There was very little I hated about this game. And the one thing I did hate about this game was the reffing, just because it was getting chippy. You could definitely tell there's some sort of like not hatred, but something extra to this game right away with all the fouls. But I also don't think you have to control it without all the yellow. I think your yellows became a weapon too quickly in the game that put a lot of players on both teams in a lot of trouble, that took away from such a good game. This could have been an all-time game as in fun level, but the yellows kept slowing the pace, kept taking that aggressiveness away, which I really did like, by the way. I love that the Rapids came out, were super aggressive. They weren't letting the ball just float to them. They were running up to the ball. They were attacking every timber player. I thought that was awesome.
The yellows are, I'm not going to call them troubling, but Yarby had one. Rubio had two. I think Lewis had one. I think Acosta had one. I don't know. Trusty had one when he went up with Ivicic for a header in the goal, basically. Ivicic took exception, got in his grill, full chest to chest. It was a chippy game. And obviously there's still bad blood there from that playoff loss at home on Thanksgiving. This is the first chance for the Rapids to kind of avenge that, and they did. In a big way. There was I'd say the best chance Portland had resulted in one of the worst shots I have ever seen in a soccer game ever in my life.
Oh, are you talking about that one that just hit Yarborough straight in the chest?
No, Laria, where he just sky punted a wide open break into friggin' Broomfield. He just launched it.
I turned away for that for a minute because I was doing something on my computer, and as soon as I did it, and I wasn't able to see the replay.
He tried to chip.
Yeah,
he tried to chip.
I heard what happened, but it was bad. I heard it was horrible. I wasn't able to.
It was honestly one of. He needs to just disappear for a little bit. That was embarrassing. He deserves to sit on the bench for a month or so to wash that one away. That was awful. So I think you look at this, man. All right. So talk about facing adversity. Haven't had wins at all, right? You're playing well, and we talked about this, the habits of creating chances, controlling possession, really dictating the pace of the game, but not getting the results. Tonight, they completely flipped that, where they were on the front foot the entire time, even when they were down a man, even when they had 10, they were still forcing the action.
That was, again, this just the offensive side of it. We were talking about it. How good would you feel about this win? And they didn't. Their offense was but they still were mustered a win. Their offense was great. You were like, you had to watch the whole game. You had to be aware the whole time because the game just kept going. Like they could have scored like 4 times easily.
They should have probably, yeah. Honestly,
Zardes
had a good chance that should have been a goal. Lewis had 2 that should have been goals.
Also, like that dynamic of Zardes, like people need to realize that he didn't show up in the assist. He didn't show up in the score sheet, but he did pull so many players away from the action. He would Lewis was running down the left side. He'd run to the right to get into the box. Lewis was 1-on-1, and he was winning those 70% of the time at that point. And then if you had Rubio right behind him, he'd pull to the left. Rubio had the whole right flank open. I saw it happen like 3-4 times, and I was like, wow. Zardes has that gravitational pull that the Rapids have been missing, and you can tell right away from that top line, it's just opening everything up for everyone.
And I think the biggest thing, and shout out Joseph Samuelson, who does all the sorts of stats at the end of the game. He and here he is on a comment. I'll get to that in a second. But Zardes had 100% passes for the second appearance in a row, which is a big deal. big deal. It's just showing that, like, he may not know specifically where his chances are going to come from, but when he does get the ball, he's going to make the right decisions. Do you want to throw that comment up again real quick? Joseph says, I agree the 4-back worked really well last night. Hope it gets more use this year. I think there's still a place for the 5-back against certain teams, but 4-2-3-1 works well for the personnel Colorado has. Fully agree. I mean, it's funny because I thought that 5-2-3 or whatever you want to call it, man, was like a great formation. And I think it's a weird formation that works really well when the team is in the system and knows it, and they do. And then you see last night, you see this formation and they're dominating. So it's like, you know what? I think the Rapids are just better in general, period, than their record shows, and you can kind of have them play however they want. The talent and the chemistry is going to come through.
And right now they're in 8th place, right behind Houston, with the same amount of games played, I believe. Just behind the goal differential. The Rapids are at 0 in the Rapids are at 0, and I think Houston's at 1. So like it's a one goal for differential that's keeping them out of the playoffs as we speak. But again, this game was really fun. This game was extremely fun. I usually come in and have a complaint about a player to have a no complaint at all about how the team played. I thought Fraser was really smart. He looked at his personality and said, okay, what's going to work best? And he attacked that. This reminded me so much of that Thanksgiving game last year against the Timbers. But this time the difference was that they were able to finish. And I think that's a lot. That has to do a lot with Zardes. Again, just for opening up spaces. You have somebody that's attracting attention, and they don't have to focus on just Rubio or just on Jonathan Lewis. Now you have somebody that can help create chances for others. And that was just really fun.
His experience, I think, really showed through too, and how many big moments he's played in with the national team and across his MLS career. There was a late touch with him. I want to say 70th something. Could have been before that. Could have been 60th. I don't have my notes directly in front of me here on timeline, but he got the ball at his feet, took a touch to the left, nothing. Took a touch to the right, nothing. Got a shot off to the left corner where it hit the post, but just I don't see a lot of that from the rest of the Rapids. And not that they're not good in attack, but there is a level of calm that you have to have with the ball at your feet in the box. And then, just to be able to bury it, I think he'll get there. He'll get his first goal. Hopefully it's at home. No. Hopefully it's next week. Hopefully it's next week on the road because they could really use it in San Jose.
San Jose's though. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, just to touch on Logan's comment there. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Lewis does need to bury those. Absolutely.
Lewis is who he is. We're not going to change him. He's a speed demon. Yesterday, he showed he could control the ball in the pace.
Oh, man, he was great.
So that's the thing. Like, I'm not going to ask for him to finish stuff anymore. He is who he is at this point. If you're not a finisher, you're just not a finisher. But that one-on-one, you do got to, put at the back of the net. The other chances, they are what they are. Like, it's Lewis. You can't ask for much more.
Look, if he's there with one-on-one chances to get the ball in, with Zardes in the box, Rubio right behind him, and someone on that backside, I'm fine with that, right? I'll take those chances because he is fast enough to get open. He's fast enough to get a clean look into the box, whether that's on goal or into the middle. If he plays like he played last night, he's going to have a fantastic rest of the season. If that is the Lewis we're going to get, he will finish. He won't finish as much as some, but that's why he's not a DP9 in this league, why he's not, one of the top goal scorers in the league, but why he does have a very specific role, and that is to open up those lanes for attack, and he did, right?
I thought he was great. Period. I have no complaints on Lewis. Even his finishing, it was it is who he is. We can't tell him to change at this point. So, again, I'm just really hyped about this game. I really enjoyed every aspect of it. I thought it was a great game to show them. And one thing I want to touch about Lewis real quick, that the best games we've seen from Lewis have been where Lucas has been on the bench.
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
So what my theory is that, I think I've said this before, but I'm not sure, that Lucas drowns out Lewis. Because Lucas runs all the way up the wing, and he's such a more dynamic playmaker that Jonathan Lewis is not good at coming back inside or even crisscrossing with Lucas. So he gets lost in the formation and he doesn't know where to go. So that's my theory about J. Lou and Lucas.
Well, yeah, I'm playing with Beta, who I thought had a good game. That makes a lot of sense because Beta doesn't have that dynamicism that Lucas obviously has, and Lucas has come on a sub the last 2 weeks, and I think he's really helped that pace in sort of finishing the game. Whether or not, I mean, 2 games ago they didn't actually finish the game, but I thought bringing in that speed, that change of pace helps. But Beta had a very controlled game, and it did allow Lewis to kind of own that whole top of the left side. So great point there. Any other final thoughts? Anybody you'd want to give to man of the match for you?
Mark Anthony K, man. First few games of the year we bagged on him. He's really turned it up. He's been a great player. He's become the leader that we expected him to be. He's controlling that midfield, and Bryan Acosta. Those two guys control that midfield. There has to be a place for Bryan Acosta after practice back. There has to be. The way he played last, he did seem injured in the first 5 minutes. Started like kind of holding his leg a little bit. So it makes me think that maybe he's been battling with an injury that they don't like to talk about. Or maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable. But Bryan Acosta needs to have a place on this team. He showed it last night. He can control that midfield. He was everywhere. That he was a box to box, exactly what the Rapids need. And I thought that was
we were talking on press rows, me and Brendan Plone and Matt Pollard and Vinny from the Gazette, and we were like, okay, here comes a corner, man. All right, we're really going to see what's happening. Okay, it's Acosta. Okay, cool, Acosta. Because no one really was there for a training session where they were practicing their set pieces, so no one was really sure what was going to go down. And literally, first corner chance, Lawless makes his best run on a corner I think I've seen him have this year. Perfect placement. Ball right in the exact right spot on its way down, buries it. Lewis, of course, touching the goalie, gets the indirect offsides call, but it's like, okay, Price can take a game off against a team that's not that great like Portland. Maybe even next week. Give him next week off against San Jose because Acosta can handle set pieces. Clearly, he's okay sitting back in that midfield role and kind of hanging out. And I mean, there were moments where it did look like a 3-back line because Lawless and Trusty split out and Acosta was just sitting there in the back. Like he's that comfortable playing back and kind of dictating the offense. And it was really impressive to see, honestly. It's good to see that because he hasn't started since the first game of the season. So to see that was pretty nice.
I want more Acosta minutes, man.
Me too.
I really do. I thought he was great. I loved how he worked. His work rate's unreal. He was up and down. I've become such a big fan of Acosta, man. He needs I liked him in Dallas, but as a Rapid, I love him. So he needs to have more minutes. He needs to be one of the first guys off the bench if he's not on the lineup. It also gives a chance to rest Price throughout the year. Like I said, on these like weaker teams, maybe like some home games that Price is not feeling his greatest. Just let him come back. Give Acosta that load. He can handle the set pieces. But I'm really excited. I'm so hyped for the future. This is just the gas. Samuelson said, "This is the gas I needed, man. My tank is at full, and I still got 2 canisters in the bag full of gas as well, man. I'm so ready for this."
Yeah, Selena, baby. Let's go. What draft grade would you give our Broncos? Man, I wish Stoner 710. I wish I had more time to scout college. I watch a couple college teams. But from what I can tell, they drafted for need every time, Peyton. I mean, this is a second draft, but last draft was awesome. That corner out of Pitt seems pretty dope. With his definitely plays up. He's strong, can hit really hard, which classic Bronco corner trait that you want. That returner looks pretty awesome from Sanford. I watched that punt return against Florida where he went into the middle of the entire 22 players on the field and got out and returned it to the house. But I don't know, A+. Go Broncos, baby.
I'll give it an A- just because they didn't draft a punter, and that's my only issue. I wanted like 4 punters in this class.
I cannot believe that dude from Arizona State went that late. There was a punter drafted in like the 4th round, and it wasn't him.
Oh, San Diego State, Razor or whatever.
Yeah, dude, that dude is awesome. Yeah,
we didn't get a Razor or Stonehouse, and I was pissed, and I was like, screw this. You get an A-, George. I wanted a puncher. Give me all the special teams I want, and I'm pissed that we didn't get all of them. That was my win issue.
You brought it up there at the end with the bench. Really quick, the bench obviously is about to have a big shift in dynamic. Reportedly, and this is not confirmed by the Rapids, nothing official yet, But Shinyashiki was not on the team sheet last night, and Friday a report came out that said Andre Shinyashiki to Charlotte agreed in principle for $400K in GAM back to the Pids. So obviously Andre, who burst onto the scene with a Rookie of the Year performance, fizzled out pretty hard in the subsequent 2 seasons. Has been getting chances. He's played about 2.5 games worth of minutes over 8 appearances, 2 starts. And honestly, when you look at that, his metrics say he had a good season. I would say he was pretty unimpactful. So we'll see what this does for him. But I mean, do you have any thoughts on Shinyashiki leaving? How do you feel about it?
Wishing him all the best. I thought he lost his place a while back at the beginning of the season when Fraser started favoring Lewis over Shinyashiki. You could kind of see the writing on the wall. Because if Galvan was available, Galvan would be in that spot, and you'd have Lewis in the second as the sub. So I wish him all the best. I'm really happy that he went to Charlotte where he can hopefully find some rhythm. He's going out to the Eastern Conference, so we don't have to worry about it too much. And maybe this opens up some room for like Yappy or Yaya to come in and take those that spot as a consistent rotation player. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yappy's only had 1 appearance, maybe 2. It would be nice to see him come on more, especially with Zardes coming on. There's not really room for Andre anymore, unfortunately. And Charlotte's going to have plenty of opportunity. I mean, their roster's, okay. They're not, like winless or anything, but definitely will have a chance to make an impact if he can catch that form from his Rookie of the Year season. He could definitely become an impact player in that Eastern Conference, and there's definitely a lot of chances for goals there. So hopefully, obviously bringing in 400 in GAM covers the Zardes trade, right? So That's good there. I mean, assuming the incentives don't hit, which I'm not assuming. I'd love to see Zardes win a Golden Boot and the Rapids win a cup, but
I'd take it. I'd give them all the GAM they want if that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely. But for the most part, I think it's a good trade. Again, unofficial. When it's official, we'll definitely get into it probably a little bit more. But definitely wishing Andre the best. And I think it's the right move for this team to open up some opportunities on the wing there. So, obviously coming up 5 games in 15 days, starts on the road at San Jose. Big one there. Any early thoughts on that game? We'll definitely get into it midweek, but anything you're thinking about?
Thinking about the Rubio suspension, because he's gonna have to miss the game. So I wonder if if he has enough lead to like get it rescinded or whatever.
Sure.
Rescinded.
Not
a natural English speaker. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, rescinded. You had it right. Yeah.
So, but that's gonna worry me because we saw the dynamic with Rubio and Zardes really worked out. And if you don't have Shinyashiki, you're gonna have to change your whole lineup again. Maybe you see Yappy, maybe you see Yaya. More minutes for Acosta, of course. Especially now you're getting a little bit thinner there because you don't have Rubio, now you don't have Price, and now you don't have Danny Wilson. So
I think Nico could probably get a spot start too if he needed to. Get Mosquito
for sure.
in there.
I'm surprised you haven't seen Mosquito more often, man. I love Mosquito. Really loved him last year. He's one of those players that you just like because you like.
Absolutely. Yeah, with Price out, Wilson out, and potentially Rubio out unless they do rescind that second yellow. Man, this is where you wish Galvan wasn't hurt, right? Out for the season. Sure. This would be a perfect game for that. But the Rapids have proven resilient, especially with that win last night. And hopefully that continues into this rough stretch of the season. You want to any preview for Wednesday? I promise you there's going to be some Rubio hype in there. Guarantee
Rubio
it.
hype, a lot
I'm telling you right now.
There's going to be Rubio hype. There's going to be a lot of Zardes talk. There's going to be a lot of gas. There might be some fire.
There's going to be both. A lot of it.
Whether there's smoke, there's fire. There's flame brighter fire, whatever. So hey, just wait for it. I'm going to bring the fire. I will come in with my gas tank and just be like, we're setting this bitch on fire today.
Let's go, man. Let's go. All right, yeah. Thank you so much for jumping on this Sunday morning. Guys, subscribe to our YouTube page. Watch us, like us, get in there. There's over 20,000 subscribers to the DNVR YouTube page. Make sure you are one of them. Give us thumbs up when you can. It helps with the algorithm. Become a member at DNVR, man. You get all sorts of stuff. You get the Discord. You get all the written content. You get access to tickets to events that other people don't. It's definitely worth it there. $60 for the year gets you $30 in merch back. Speaking of merch, go to the locker, buy t-shirts, put me to work. I am Merchel and you need merch. And then other than that, man, up the pids, baby. We'll see you next week.
So